Welcome to Be Well with Raquel. I'm Dr. Raquel Garzon, Wellness Specialist for Cooperative Extension at New Mexico State University. Today's segment is focused on one of the foundations of wellness, personal purpose. And with me today is Dr. Bryce Jorgensen, a specialist in Cooperative Extension at New Mexico State University with specific expertise in personal success. Welcome, Bryce. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
You know, Bryce, when I work with people and I find that they're trying to work on eating or exercising or sleep or anything like that, that having them connect to personal purpose and figure out what it is and leveraging it is really key to success in these areas.
Right.
Now, you have expertise in a lot of things: money management, goal setting, productivity, career success, happiness. How important is personal purpose in those areas that you work in?
Personal purpose is critical. I mean, it's the why behind what we do. It's hard to accomplish much if we don't know why we're doing it. And so all of us want to have a life of meaning, of contribution, of purpose. And in order to do that, we have to understand why is it that we are doing those things. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to go through the hard times, the hard things that we need to do, whether it's exercise or saving money or investing, if we don't know really the purpose behind why we're doing it.
Great, so it's pretty similar.
Yes.
So, you know, people struggle with healthy behaviors, and in part it's because they're not really making the connection to that personal purpose. They're not leveraging that. And so I'm sure you see this in your field because you just spoke about it, but can you give a specific example?
Sure, so I see this all the time. A lot of times people are trying to find success by climbing the corporate ladder or getting more stuff, getting a nicer car, a nicer house, more stuff, just whatever they think is going to make them happy. And then they get there and they ask, is this all there is? You know, they think that they're going to be happy, but they're not. And the problem is a lot of times they are sacrificing things that are truly meaningful, like their relationships, a marriage, you know, time with their children, just to get there. And so they're climbing this ladder and they get to the top and find out it's against the wrong wall. And they've given so much and sacrificed so much. And that's all because they don't have the purpose in the first place.
Yeah, so again, it's very similar to what I find. I recently had a client that had tried to quit smoking a whole bunch of times and had gone back to smoking. And he told a story about his 5-year-old. You know, he would always send her away every time he would smoke. He would say, go play over there because I don't want you to be near my cigarette smoke. And so one day she says to him, Daddy, you know, if you didn't smoke, we could spend a lot more time together. And he said that he never smoked again after that day. And it really shows you the power of purpose because it almost makes what seems impossible possible to do. Do you have an example of something like that also in your field?
You bet, yeah. So I do financial coaching and life coaching, and one of my clients, he was working a lot and saying to his wife and children that it was for them and that he needed to work a lot, and really he didn't need to work that much. And so his wife finally came and said, look, we need you at home. I want you home 4 times a week for dinner. We want you when you're home to be home, not working. I need you to be participating in the children's activities more. I would rather have you and your time than the extra income and the extra promotions. And he thought about it and said, you know what, she's right. So he focused more at work. He was actually more productive with less time at work. And he was able to prioritize his family and his wife, which did great benefits for him later on.
Yeah, that's great. So a lot of people struggle with trying to figure out what their purpose is or how do I use it in everyday life. And so I have this list of questions that I give people to get them started on figuring out what that purpose is. And I'm sure you have some great techniques. So what is some advice that you can give our viewers if they want to discover purpose? You know, what are some methods that they can use?
So there's lots of different questions, like you said, or techniques. One is to picture yourself at your own funeral. And someone that you know really well and that knows you really well is speaking about your life and how meaningful it was. What would you want them to say about you? What do you want to hear them saying? And are you congruent? Are you living your life congruent with what you want them to say? Another one you think about is in your future, you're retired, maybe you're 65, and you've lived a perfect life. If you're already 65, maybe 5 or 10 years down the road, and you've lived this perfect life, what does that look like to you? If your perfect life has been lived, what is that? And write those things down, and that kind of gives you the meaning and the purpose. And then it gives you the power to say yes to those things that will allow you to have that perfect life, and no to all the distractions that really just take you away from things that really are meaningful in life.
And that is great advice from Bryce. Thank you for being here and sharing your experiences with personal purpose.
You bet.
We hope that you've taken something of value from this segment on Be Well with Raquel. Join us next time as we discuss another important foundation of wellness, mindset. Thank you and be well.